Anyways, down. In 1993, I was released from the military after 23 months with 3 weeks worth of Prozac and put on a bus home here to Peterborough, because I'm Peterborough born and raised. It was like the Technicolor world that I lived in was no longer Technicolor. It was gray and black and white. So I saw everything in absolutes. I was gonna just speak from the heart, but for some reason, this writing that I have with me, it feels like this should be shared today. So, I'm getting all lighting glasses. The tale of the beautiful disaster. Long ago, at a time since past, there was born a perfectly imperfect princess into a stably unstable environment, which led to her having a gift of being predictably unpredictable and eventually becoming a beautiful disaster. I am a legacy, the child of a traumatized beautiful disaster who would have laughed at you if you told her she was beautiful. My dreams, goals, and desires in life were simple. I wanted to be anyone but my mother. I felt like I was born into the wrong family. I wanted a life to make a difference, to see the world, and to be of service to humanity. I wanted to be a part of something bigger. I did not want to end up a teenage mother or an alcoholic, and I definitely did not want to be trapped in an unhappy marriage living in a 2-bedroom apartment with 3 kids above my husband's mother. I couldn't see for the longest time that my mother did the best she could with the knowledge she had. She had her own trauma to deal with that my teenage brain could never comprehend. My quest to break free and find myself, serve others, and be different than my mother led to me joining the Canadian Armed Forces at 18 years old, where I had a brief 23-month career as a naval signalman that earned me a fast-track PhD in Hard Knocks University. I learned adaptability, resilience, and that if you report being sexually assaulted, you got made an example of. Then, after they damage you even more, they throw you away like a disposable plate that is of no more use. I knew when I joined the military, I was signing a blank check that was up to and including my life, but I didn't think I would be signing over my body, my mind, and my soul to be used as a toy, or that I would return home at 20 years old, a living dead girl. I felt like such a failure, and an attempt to take my life landed me in a psychiatric ward where I found that I was pregnant, not military related. I had a reason to live and keep going, even when I did not want to. I had no self-confidence, no self-worth, no self-respect, and I could not see I had skills that allowed me to overcome any obstacle placed before me, because I was stuck in the hurt and conditioning of others. I thought I was an object of possession, something to be had. And I went to great lengths to people please so I could feel wanted and needed. This led me down many dark paths filled with more trauma, rejection, abuse, abandonment, hurt, betrayal, and self-sabotage. I knew I was not the only one in the military who experienced what I had: systemic discrimination, sexual harassment, assault, abuse of power, a suck-it-up attitude, and a fear of reprisal for reporting. I could not let go of what happened to me, as I could still not comprehend how I ended up charged for reporting my rape, or how I was denied my chance at a career because I did not want to learn to be a slut or keep my mouth shut when I had things done to me. In 1998, myself and 12 other brave, courageous women stood up and called out the Canadian Armed Forces. I was featured on the cover of Maclean's magazine with rape in the military beside my head. There were follow-up articles, public outcry, a reckoning for we must do better, and then it was quickly swept under the rug. This was 1998. Society was not ready to deal with that paradigm shift yet. I was vilified and ostracized for telling the truth, something I had become accustomed to. This put me in a negative mindset for years, thinking I was bad, irrelevant, nobody, and incapable of being loved. My desire to serve and wanting to assist others like myself led me to university at 30 years old to get a nursing degree so I could learn the skills to help myself and help others. My childhood trauma, attachment issues, abandonment, and rejection issues left me caring too much, feeling too much, and having no boundaries. I was a people pleaser that never felt wanted, so needed to feel needed, and I ended up burning myself out. My kids and their friends were my lifeline, although they often took advantage of my kindness and my mental state. Throw in 3 abusive marriages to narcissists and you end up with a woman that says, hey, wait a minute, things need to change. I knew if something did not change, I was going to give up implode, or explode. My moment of awakening came when my third husband hit me in the side of the head with my cell phone. It was like a light switch that turned on and my whole existence screamed, "You deserve better. There has to be a better way." I was almost 45 years old. I was 100% disabled with PTSD and agoraphobia. This was a couple years ago I wrote this because I'm a little older now. My two sons were grown. I had a 6-year-old granddaughter who's now 14, and I have a new one, she's 1. I finally realized that the only person that was gonna save me was me. No doctor, no therapist, not even a man. I was the one with the power and control, and I had been all along. Ready for change, I gave up all my safety and security. I sold my home, left my family behind, and moved to a different city, which was again a blessing and a curse. I was alone for the first time. No kids, no man, no mom, who had been sober for 25 years and passed on. And a family that never understood me, so I was just easier to write off. I met new people that respected me for me. They did not judge me. I reconnected with the veteran world, and I learned I was normal for me. I met a friend that allowed me to reframe my whole past and see what I thought of as my failures as successes. Through his acceptance, compassion, and advice, he reminded me of who I really was and what I was capable of. I made a conscious decision to use my pain for purpose, to turn my hurt into lessons, and to see that every decision I made was with the knowledge I had at that time. When I knew better, I had to do better. My experiences, no matter how bad, had all taught me something. Imagination, gratefulness, and positivity allowed me to transform my knowledge into wisdom and transmute my darkness into light. There was a certain grace in realizing my trauma happened for me and not to me. It all made me me. I've been able to overcome any obstacle placed before me, and my adversity has made me so resilient. I also realize that with great trauma comes a great opportunity for empowerment and growth. And I have a responsibility to share this with others so that they know that change is possible. And it doesn't matter how many times you fall down, literally or figuratively. As long as you get back up, it's okay to feel. When you do, you deal, and then you can heal. Finding myself, accepting myself, and loving myself, demons and all, has allowed me to see that hurt people, and heal people, heal people. I have the same story as many others, but I have chosen to be vocal and speak out so others do not feel alone. I am working free on breaking free of my own stigmas and know that I am not a walking disaster like some would like to think. I learn from every experience, and I am working to be a better me every day, so I can be the change and lead by example for my 2 sons, my granddaughter, and anyone else that is coming out of the dark and needs a helping hand to see their light. I wrote this for a clothing company, so this little piece is about their. My favorite piece of clothing from Beautiful Disaster was the one that led me to this site, a shirt with an anchor on it, I was Navy, that said, "Be the one to guide me, but never hold me down." I've had so many people try to dominate, suppress, gaslight, and project on me to attempt to keep me submitted, docile, and subdued. It never worked because I'm a free spirit, and I will never allow myself to be caged by others' behaviors, opinions, judgments, or attitudes ever again. Although I seem to be bound by my own judgments of myself, so gotta work on that still. I have learned that people are not intimidated by my darkness or my demons. They are afraid of the light that shines despite them. Perseverance and persistence pay off as the Canadian Armed Forces is finally recognizing and acknowledging sexual misconduct and harassment, is slowly working towards a safer work environment. Change takes time. I have been fortunate enough to watch this issue go from being swept under the rug to a $900 million class action lawsuit being won to acknowledge the issue in just over 20 years. I like to think I'm the timestamp that the government or military can't deny. They can't say they didn't know. It's a Google search away. So, well, this was about Beautiful Disaster, but it makes sense for everyone. Beautiful Disaster clothing line reminds me I am not alone, and there's a tribe out there of beautiful disasters, not dictated by their past or the opinion of others, taking back their power, using their voices for change, and moving forward. The world needs more of that. Whenever I go out to events, I always get to meet beautiful, wonderful people. And I have to say that I am so grateful for everything that happened to me, even for what happened to me in the military. Because if that did not happen, I would not know people from every province, every rank, every trade, and every element. Like, it is the most amazing feeling that I could probably go anywhere in Canada and meet up with someone that perhaps I talked to with online or something like that. It's like a club that you didn't want to join. I think the World War II women said that. But honestly, it's a club that I'm glad that I'm a part of, because I meet the most brave, courageous people on a regular basis, and I wouldn't give that up for the world. So I'm super grateful to Chad for having an event like this, and for Aaron, because honestly, the more that we talk about things, the more other people feel comfortable talking about things. And we just need to open these dialogues so people can get comfortable with being uncomfortable and let other people feel and not dismiss it. I don't know how many times somebody's asked me how I am, I start to tell them, and they stop me right in the middle because they don't actually care how I am. But the thing, when you dismiss it, you're telling that person that they're not important, right? Why not just listen? It takes you 5 minutes. Maybe it makes you feel uncomfortable, but you have no idea what it's doing for them. A lot of the guys get all upset when I call them crying. They're like, Dawn, I don't know how to help you. I said, you are helping me just by listening. That's all I need. I can figure it out on my own. I'm a verbal processor. As you're letting me talk, I'm figuring it out. So honestly, yeah, sometimes conversations are difficult. People don't want to hear about sexual assault and rape, but if you just listen for a few minutes, then you can be a part of the change. And I just want to see this world become a place where we can all get along and be the empowering people that empower people. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and I hope you